we count down. So that's it. We are live. You can now get the link, right? Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the State of the Igbo Nation series here on Njenje Media TV. Today's conversation focuses on one of the most pressing challenges facing the Southeast today: insecurity and deepening agitation across the region. Over the past few years, communities across the Southeast have experienced rising level of violence, criminal activities, kidnappings, and confrontations between security actors and armed groups. Between these developments have created fear, disrupted economic life, weakened community cohesion, and intense political tension. At the same time, agitation driven by political grievances, mistrust of institutions, and unresolved historical questions has created a complex environment where legitimate concerns and criminal opportunism and the real competitive narrative, where competitive narratives now intersect. In many communities, people are asking difficult questions. Who are the real actors behind this violence? Are they the agitators, or are we having criminals who hide under the grievance of agitation to commit crime? Are current security approaches addressing the root cause of this problem? And what sustainable solutions exist for lasting peace in the region? Some operations claim success in cleansing forests and criminal enclaves, yet many citizens argue that the insecurity simply shifts from one community to another rather than being fully resolved. One believes that dialogue, reconciliation, and community-led peace initiative must play a greater role alongside security effort. Tonight, we have the opportunity to have with us here Chukwuka Ofoegbu, popularly known as Ijele Speaks, to help us dissect and examine these issues. A security analyst and investigative blogger who has been vocal about insecurity and security development in the Southeast and has spoken intensively about operations in and across the Southeast, including the recent one known as the Mother Valley. This conversation will explore his experience, the realities he has seen on ground, the broader question of what truly constitutes a lasting solution to insecurity in the Southeast. Ijele, as I may fondly call you, welcome to this conversation.
Thank you so much. Good evening, and thanks for having me here today.
Thank you very much, Ijele. Let's start on a neutral note here. Do you think the Southeast we have today, March 2026, is better than the Southeast we had before the SARS debacle, as it were?
No, far from it. There is no reasonable person, Igbo or otherwise, that will look at the state of the Southeast today and tell you it's better than what we used to have in prior to the October 2020 failed hostile takeover of government known as the SARS. Though imperfect, though riddled with the normal problems that characterizes the Nigerian society that has characterized the Nigerian society for a long time, but you still a far cry from what we have today, given that so many people, so many lives, properties, Communities have been destroyed. They've been ruined, and many of them are never coming back ever again. There are families that have closed down entirely as a result of what has happened in the Southeast from October 2020. The post-October 2020 Igbo is one thing nobody wants to see repeated in the Southeast again.
Okay, so I mean, Southeast before the SARS was touted as the most peaceful region in Nigeria. And the how do I put that? The agitation in the Southeast has been existing before the SARS. You said something here. You classified SARS as hostile takeover of government. Considering the peaceful nature of Southeast, how do you make such comment that SARS was a peaceful takeover of government?
Yeah, I call it a hostile takeover of government because there is a chasm between what Nigerians were told and what the leaders of the movement were actually gunning for. If you notice how everything dissolved automatically after the withdrawal of the police protection of the VIPs and all the people that were funding it from behind, because you are in the media, you have been a political actor for a long time. You know that you can't carry such an elaborate operation in a country without adequate funding and other political machineries being brought to bear on it. So there is no reasonable person who understands politics and political gimmicks, political intrigues, that didn't know those things were funded. And if you notice, it moved from police brutality to the president must go. So when you go from talking about police brutality and all of a sudden you're harping on a different slogan, which is the removal of the president without due process, through the ballot or the Act of National Assembly. That means you are calling for something else. So it was so obvious. Then the Southeast per se, why it affected Southeast that much was that the leader of IPOB himself, Nnamdi Kanu, saw it as an opportunity to institute what he has been planning for a very long time. If you notice, in August of 2020 was when he made the comment that Biafra must come in 2020, that if the Biafra did not come in 2020, that they should know that Elohim did not save him. And mind you, that was when he was collecting money for defense fund, telling the Igbo, especially those in the diaspora, to contribute money that they were going to fight Nigeria. So he saw it as an opportunity for his boys to go loot the police stations, while the protests had nothing to do with Igbo. Even the boy that was reportedly killed, then that we saw his father's video where he was crying, it's not even from the Southeast. The event did not even happen in the Southeast, but they used it as opportunity. One, the money they collected from people in the name of buying arms, they later used those guns they stole from the police formations and the police checkpoints, FOBs, as to show to the people that contributed the money that they actually bought weapons. And it gave them an opportunity to remove any resistance to whatever they planned for Igbo, which we later came to know is this IPOB ESN.
Now, okay. I mean, you touched on his incursion, that is Nnamdi Kanu's incursion into the SARS. As a living witness, as someone who played a role in trying to douse tension, recall that when a statement was, when he made the broadcast and interfered in that, on this platform, with the help of Nzuko Monna and the leadership of Nzuko Monna, we brought Nnamdi Kanu on this platform for him to apologize to the Yoruba nation, which he did. I mean, the videos are still here. And that said, but the intersection of where, when you make this intervention, then I'm thinking, are you then inferring that the forceful takeover of government, that he was involved in that? Bear in mind that I do believe to tomorrow, he did not understand and didn't know how NSAS started, how NSAS was financed, but kind of came into that mix. Do you agree with that? That he didn't know how NSAS was started?
Most of the people that participated in the NSAS didn't even know how NSAS started, because
Exactly.
the name NSAS was invented by Segalinks, Mr. Segalinks. It was Sega that started NSAS, and we started it with him. In fact, I joined the NSAS movement way back in 2011. That was when I joined NSAS, but that name did not catch fire up until that moment. But
until the death that occurred in Delta State happened.
I'm coming. Then, when they started using it as a slogan, mind you, Segalinks, who was the initiator of that NSAS movement himself, not the NSAS movement that carried out those acts in 2020, because I find it difficult classifying good people like activists, because activism has been bastardized in Nigeria, that when I'm calling like someone like you an activist, it seems I'm lumping you together with all these cash activists. Of course, you know what I mean by that. But those people, that the so-called activist class that started that thing in 2020, their goals are totally different from the goals of Segalinks, who started NSAS. Now, let me give you something. I don't understand your point and the role that people like you play, but I call you people the ignorant part of the movement, because you took it at face value. But I can tell you that I was even contacted. And I know what the people that contacted me told me. I know what they promised me and asked me to join, to the point that they wanted to pay me that even if I'm not joining them, I should remain neutral. In fact, I recorded the whole phone call. My face is there. The former DSS DG, Richie, may still be in possession of this call, I'm telling you, because I recorded everything and sent it to them. So people like you probably didn't know that there was something else happening beneath, other than the call for justice and call to end police brutality. So that's why I try to make this distinction.
So, okay, let me interject here. Who would you mind telling us, make this revelation for the first time? If you know those who were planning it, who were they planning to install then, assuming that they were able to?
I don't know about if they were installing first, but somebody called me. He's a Yoruba boy from the United Kingdom. I knew he's a Yoruba boy from his accent and the way he speaks. He spoke to me and told me that even that they from the Southeast are involved. He even mentioned the Igbo name. Then I saw what was going on in Ibadan. Then saw what was going on in the Southeast, and how the whole thing was planned, and it was kind of concentrated in the South, and they were hoping that the people from the North will join in, which never happened. So when I told you that it was a hostile takeover of government, that's not to say that I know who they wanted to install as leader, but I'm telling you, based on the information I was given and what was going on. In fact, it was after I sent them that call, I was even the one that suggested to Mr. Shehu. I will give his name. He's a security personnel. I probably shouldn't give his name, but this man, I believe he's in Delta now. He was at the DSS operational command at Shangisha in Lagos prior to coming to Delta State. So when I'm giving you a name, I'm giving you, when I'm giving you information, I'm giving you the names of the people I contacted them. You can actually go and do your verification from there, right to the DSS. Tell them I said this. So that does not mean I was in a meeting where they are trying to install someone, and it was obvious. They were trying to bring down the government of then President Muhammadu Buhari, of which the dangers he was facing them are not over now for the current president.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's bring this down to the Southeast, as this is the state of security in the Southeast.
Okay.
When I made my introduction, I highlighted that the Southeast had been a very secured place, but in the last couple of years, ranging from forceful Monday sit-at-home, we must underline that word, forceful Monday sit-at-home, because I argue and I speak to some people in the diaspora who go to work on Monday, but say that people have the right to stay on home on Monday. I'm like, I don't know from which part of their body they eat. Because if you can go to work on Monday to earn a living, to feed your family, and someone is somewhere threatening someone not to come out on a particular Monday, and that is not acceptable. Now, coming down to the Southeast, the governors of this Anambra and the Imo State, many would argue that they appear not to be really aggressive enough in the last, because we have had one governor in both states in the last 4 years, consistently, without any breaks. In your view, these two governors, what is it that the public doesn't know that you think is holding them from really using the sledgehammer to stop the mess happening in their states?
Okay, I will attribute it first to similarity bias. You know, when you are
Sorry,
from
say
the
that
same
again.
place with similarity bias.
Okay.
When you are from the same place with the same people, you share the same culture, you share the same language and everything, you tend to be biased towards them. And bringing out the big hammer tends to be, you tend to be reluctant to use it, and most people barely use it, and when they do, it's just as a last resort when every other thing has failed. And in this case, we left it too late before they started acting. But let's not forget the blackmail factor involved, because for a long time now, we've noticed this pattern of these people that are using this IPOB, many of them are in government offices. Many of them are the people using this ESN, many of them are political actors. They are the grassroots mobilizers for these governors. And the information they filter into the ears of the governor is totally different from the ones you and I pass through. And you know how difficult it is for information to get to so many of these people, except you've not been close to people who are close to the governor or the governors themselves. You will see how busy they are. They hardly have time to search for news the way you and I can search for news. They hardly have time to hear directly from people. It's kind of, they built one palatial prison for themselves, and they are so detached from what's going on. Now, given that the people they expect to help them in governance, the church leaders, the PGs of the communities, and the leaders of many of these societal groups that make up the society, because it's not just the government institutions that run the state. Many of them are tied to this. Many of them are compromised one way or another, and the rest are the ones that are profiting off of it. And they don't want it to stop. Now, let's also remember the Biafra factor. The way our people perceive anything that has to do with Biafra, we don't approach them with emotional intelligence. We don't approach them with clear-headedness. We don't approach them with clear acts. We are always emotional about it. And because the story of Biafra that was told to us is a story of emotion, it's a story of pain, it's a story of subjugation, it's a story of defeat. There is how people approach it, and once it is about fighting those that are hiding under the umbrella of Biafra, our people tend to use kid gloves. And why doing this? We embolden these people to go ahead, killing people, maiming people, destroying properties. Some will even go as far as telling you that whatever is needed to be done to get that Biafra, because they are living a life of hopelessness. Hopelessness in the sense that they've lost faith in the system as it is, or as they understand it. For that reason, they are for anything that will change the system, and whatever you promise them, they will follow it. That's the reason those are the reasons it was so difficult for them to do anything. And in most other cases, we have security personnel that they know when they go too hard, There will be propaganda here and okay, look at what they are writing about Tiger Base. You go to Sahara Reporters, you can never ever say anything good about the Tiger Base, about the police, about anything. And this is the actual police fighting force, the first line of defense against these criminals. So when you have such a situation, and most of all these security personnel are not from the region, they don't care that much. It's none of their business if they can safely go to work, mark time at the end of the month, they collect their salaries and go, because what's in it for them? When they do the work as they are supposed to, they are being called names. So they rather sit down, mark time, wait for their salaries to come, and some of them, if they can work their promotions out of the region, they will just do it and move ahead. At the end of the day, it's only our people, especially the poor ones and the weak, who can't fight for themselves, who can't fend for themselves, who can't defend their land. They will be the ones, the worst for it.
Okay. You know, you made an excellent point that it could be because the those in authority are familiar with the individuals that commit these crimes. Therefore, they may not be able to, you know, use so much force on them to stop it. Now, but just oppose that familiarity bias that you talked about, just oppose it to the comments made by the Anambra State Governor, Professor Chukwuka Soludo, when he was in, I think, in Washington, D.C., and said to Ndi Anambra that the majority of those who have been caught in the forest are Igbo. I think he used about 99% of them are Igbo. And that got people angry.
Which is almost all of them.
So, and that got people angry. So why do you think Igbo should get angry when a governor who is the chief security officer of the state, who sees the security report, who understands what's happened in that state better than any other person in that state? Why do you think some Ndi Anambra got angry when he said that?
It is groupthink and lack of emotional intelligence, in the sense that we have a society where most people, when it comes to political issues, we always see it from prism of a group, and that group is our own ethnic group. Now, they are saying, without many of them fully understanding it, they are seeing it as an attack on Ndi Igbo, for Soludo to say that, because they've been programmed to think that way. So they think that when Soludo is saying that he is calling Ndi Igbo bad people, which is not. He is just stating the obvious, because over time, remember how these people started? It was cries of Fulani herdsmen, and people who have so much pride find it difficult to admit they are wrong. What Soludo said is touching to that their ego, that ego of them being wrong all these years, after years of hating on the Fulanis, the herdsmen, and whatever, that they find it so difficult to internalize that reality, to internalize that truth. And because we let that thing, once again, we let the people who were spreading that propaganda run with it for a long time. So we have now created that false reality in their mind. Any other person telling them anything differently from what their predetermined decision, their predetermined this thing they've arrived at as to who the perpetrators may be. So giving it to them that way, believe me, it hit some of them too hard that they couldn't even swallow it. Now, it took some of them to be victims to agree. It took some of them to ransom their people from these same boys to agree that he was saying the truth. Some of them don't even have that luxury of agreeing with the governor, because they themselves were the victims. Some of them, their families paid money to them, and they didn't come back. Then you have those of them that only when it happened to their friends, to their people. And mind you, there is one thing about our people that most of our people have not taken cognizance of. Ihe ọbụla na-eme onye Igbo, ọ bụrụ na o meghị ya directly, o meghị affect onye ọbụla dị ya nso n'ahụ, ọ da agbasị ya, ọ dị feel the pain. So this is the reason so many of them found it difficult especially if it's not happening in your community. Some people, they are even paying money to the ones threatening to burn their homes. Yet it's very difficult for them to admit that these are the people. You know, like we were saying backstage when this started, you were wondering why, how can an Igbo man go and start beheading somebody? This is adverse to our culture. This is say whatever you want about Christianity, but the brand of Christianity that was brought to us in our society did not support this. It did not teach us all these things and our own traditional ways of life.
Religion, yes.
To
Didn't as
begin
well.
with, we don't support this. We abhor the spilling of innocent blood. And we not in the 1,000 years the some Igbo envisage that our people will be beheading people, let alone indulging in cannibalism.
Now,
so these are the reasons it was so difficult for some of them to internalize that thing that Governor Soludo said in Washington, D.C.
Now, let's look at Genesis here. There was at a point, if you recall, during the COVID-19, that is 2020, COVID lockdown, trucks were moving across Nigeria. Sometimes, in my view, contained therein were economic refugees. But some of us thought otherwise, that they were invaders, and the narrative took over the media space that these individuals were coming. The narrative of the Fulani herdsmen in the last 10 years had been something that's been reoccurring here. In some parts in Enugu, in some parts in maybe Abia, Lokbanta and Co. Uzo-Uwani in Enugu. In some parts in, I think, Anambra, towards the borders of Kogi. Stories has it that these marauders, even during the time of Buhari, that they came from Chad, they came from Burkina Faso, some of them non-Nigerians, that they were killing people in the southeast. And many elders in the diaspora believed that narrative. Is what you're saying now, and which eventually led to a formation of a militant group to counter such, quote unquote, invaders, which has eventually also, the lack of management of that group eventually led us to the mess that we are in. But if I go back to the end, before the EndSARS, when people were at home, are you then suggesting that the cry that many people were crying at that time, saying that there were people in the bush killing them when they go to farm, raping women when they go to farm, are you saying that those things were not real?
Okay, sir. During the lockdown, even till now, people are coming into Igbo in trucks, all these trucks that are bringing foods from the north. Now, during COVID, our own people, we are also moving into the north. Now, see the difference. The police, because they were paid, they were mobilized. Of course, we all know, if you understand the game, the trick they played during COVID, they used money to buy subservience of the people, to buy their obedience to COVID. I mean, government and agencies of government. Now, in order to show that the police are actually working on the highway, instead of collecting money from all those drivers, because all those drivers you are seeing, they were paying police to pass. What they do is that they will film those they arrested, and some of those trucks will be carrying people, 4 people, 5 people, 3 people, 7 people, 10 people. The most I saw was 12 in Edo State. The ones we saw then. Now, Nnamdi Kanu, being that he has an agenda, for long he has been telling them the Fulanis are coming, Fulanis are coming. He now saw it as an avenue to sell to people that Fulanis are actually invading. Now ask yourself one question. He was saying that Buhari was bringing people from Chad, from this, from that. We know that the Borno 3 were in control of Buhari's Aso Villa that time. So you are telling me that a Fulani man is a president. He can appoint anyone he wants as the police IG, all those positions, and they want to move fighters to come and take our land. They are using those trucks to bring 4 people, 5 people. How about they use military truck and move all of them at the same time? Now, have they actually showed us a single camp being run by these people? The Uzo-Uwani you are talking about, the people that we're doing that thing around Uzo-Uwani are people loyal to one man they call Honorable Ozioko, the former governor of Enugu State, who knows the person I'm talking about.
They were, hold on, they were loyal to someone. Are they Igbo? Are they
pure Igbo? That's why I'm giving you his name.
Okay.
Odera Onyeke Chukwuma, friend to Gatuso. That guy, his father used to he used to practice all these their fake juju native doctor nonsense in Obosi until Obosi people chased them away. In fact, politicians used to go there. I'm giving you his name. And during that NSAS, we saw him leading a protest. And one of the NSAS protests, the other leader of the gang over there, they know him as Abu Tek. Now, let me give you the only proven event that involves killing and herdsmen over there. There is this community. These people have lived there for so long. But some of these guys, they didn't, when people realized that they've gathered themselves in camp inside the forest, building their so-called camps, was not even when they started killing people openly. They've been doing it for years. At least the Mother Valley started in 2017. These ones started since 2019. Now, what they were doing is that they will kill somebody and told you it's Fulani herdsmen. Then they started rustling these people's cows. One day they came and killed one person from those Fulani people. The next attack, when they came, those people were waiting for them, and they killed about 2 or 3 of them there. Those people that killed them are in the Enugu, at the Enugu maximum security prison. Currently, all of them were judged here in the southeast in the Enugu and sent to prison here in Enugu. That's why they were sent to prison. The Kogi axis, believe me, I don't know the particular case you are talking about, but it could still be any of these Ibira boys. The people that attacked that church, and it could be anyone over there. I don't discuss things I'm not sure of, I've not done my research on. But one thing we know is this: all the places they were killing people, they're spilling blood and telling us Fulani herdsmen, Ihiala LGA, Mbitolu LGA, Osu LGA, Olu LGA, Okigwe LGA, are all places you have IPOP ESN camps. And they are the ones running there. Now, let me get to Lokanta. This Lokanta issue, I don't know if you remember the Al Jazeera documentary. I don't know if you remember the Al Jazeera documentary that showed the killing of people. You will see one guy a headless body in blue shirt. Well, that photo did not come from Lokanta. It came from one of the DSS operations where they went to look for Gentle and these boys. That man's head was placed in front of their shrine. There is absolutely nothing. And that time they were doing the Lokanta propaganda was when some people want to collect that land. If you notice, that place used to be a very lonely place, and that Gariki market is now a prime real estate. What they did at the bridgehead on Onitsha to forcefully take the land where these people were staying, that forced them to go to Asaba now. And one of the things that developed Asaba instead of Onitsha, another story we are not talking about. That was what they wanted to repeat in Lokanta. That was why those propaganda. I will bet my life. In fact, I'm still looking for that person that covered that thing for Al Jazeera, because that particular photo they used, I was the very first person that shared it on my Telegram channel. If you go to Ijele Speaks Telegram today, you will see it. Though I've lost control of that Telegram account because I lost the SIM card, the video is still there. The photo is still there. Go check when they did that documentary and check when I posted that photo on Telegram.
Okay.
So we really need to find out who are the people that spend so much energy, so much time to sell that narrative to us.
Ijele, you know, if one googles, types in the Google, herdsmen killing in Uzo-Uwani, you will see the recent attack by Fulani herdsmen in Uzo-Uwani have been particularly brutal, with reports of over 250 killed and scores injured, blah, blah, blah. So you move from Uzo-Uwani and you go into, you go into, from Uzo-Uwani, I think there's one other community. Now, I think, now I'm saying, I'm choosing my words carefully now. I think there could be mixes here where there are genuine conflict between herders and real residents and landowners, based on either that the cows have gone into farmland to destroy farm, and in a matter of confrontation, because it was our former president who convinced Nigeria to move away from herdsmen attack and move into what he called herdsmen farmer clash, and which I disagree to tomorrow, because there is nothing like herdsmen farmer clash. It's actually, if any of such clash happens, it is herdsmen invading farmers' land, because farm land is a static asset. You know, with your heads of cow, it's, those are movable assets. So you move your assets that is movable and you get into the farm, then there is conflict. And in this, while I understand that sometimes, like in Benue, sometimes you look beneath, you can see locals involved in some of these activities. But the major conflict comes from those who have invaded and those outsiders. And that's what gives the impetus to this crisis. I mean, that's, again, it's always debatable. Some would disagree, some would agree, but it's neither here nor there. But again, in my view, and this is now my question to you before we move on, don't you think that the reason why we have this farmer-herder clash, Fulani invasion of land, XYZ invasion of this, and whether it is genuine, if it's fake, don't you think that it is as a result of the Nigerian government and law enforcement agents failing to jail and punish whoever commits such crime, be it destroying your crop, beheading somebody, raping or whatnot? Don't you think that that blurs the line where narratives takes over? Don't you think so?
Okay, please. On the Fulani herdsmen, you said you pulled up from this thing. Now, if you notice, there are so many things that go unchallenged in our country. And there are so many news reports that were not challenged. And once they stay so long online, when you type something, the artificial intelligence will pull up anything that was written, any article about that. Now, see where you have to further your investigation, the path you have to take when you are furthering your investigation. Go check who posted that, when it was posted, and if there was actually any verification. Now, what people do, what people now do is they will take what's going on in places like Benue and Plateau. The belt. 1 minute, please. Let me take someone on this one. He's disturbing me here.
I think you can put it on D&D.
I'm coming. 1 minute. Hello, one I'm interview. I'm an interview. Hello? Hello, one I'm an interview. I'm an interview. No, son. So now, what they do is this. They will take what's going on in the middle belt and apply it to our place. And nothing like that goes on. I'm telling you, there is no single community in the Southeast today. Anyone can come from outside and take their land. Now, when you are talking about the cattle destroying farmlands, those are animals. And there is no way you can carry a head of cattle along for a full year and you will not see one or two occasions where they are destroying farmlands. In that case, they should pay for it. But for people to take the land matters, centuries old matters that people have in Plateau State, in Benue State, so many of those problems have existed centuries even before Nigeria was found, before Nigeria became a country. They will not pretend it is happening in our place. It is false. Now, please, I will refer you to the SWAT commander of the Enugu SWAT. And let him tell you all the people they've been busting their camps. Every single camps, you know what, these operations you are seeing in Imo State, it goes on in Enugu State, but you hardly hear it because of how they function. Maybe it's because of what the governor told them, and the commander himself is a man I speak to every time, an Igbo man for that matter. Every single camp they have busted. Now they are now moving into Ezago. Soon you will still start hearing that herdsmen are destroying crops in Eziagu. They are buying people in Eziagu. I don't know if you remember the other time that that girl said they buy the brother, only for us to find out that it was false. They are not even related. Her cloth was just wet for no reason. The person that said she walked, she crawled on her knees for 30-something minutes plus, and there was no scratch on her knees. I wonder where she got the, I'm coming. I wonder where she got the iron knees from. Now, I'm not telling you that there are no places that you don't see Northerners do something. Now, let me give you. In Agua, here in Owerri, they caught 5 Northerners where they are slaughtering people in the bush. They will take them, kidnap them, take them there, collect money, and bury them in shallow graves. And 5 of them are from Jigawa State. Finally, they found out that the person that was working with them inside there is one of the leaders of the community. What did they do? They sealed it. Yes, they sealed it. So apart from all
why
these,
did you when you heard that, and if they are covering it up, why didn't you blow it up?
I did. I did. I wrote about it. There was no name. I didn't get caught. I shared it. If you go to any of my Facebook pages, just type in the keyword Agua, and you will see the post there. I try to warn people. So there is only so much you can do. You will not force people to take the reality. That does not mean you will allow them destroy the mindset of people or distort reality for any reason.
Okay, Ijele, let's come to the most current operation that is ongoing, and that is the meat of the matter.
Please, let me add something. If they are actually bothered about these so-called herdsmen, why are they kicking against the operation camera, operation put cameras in your community, which we started? And why are they the ones threatening people to kill them and make their villages so unlivable if they put cameras? Butuzo just issued it in January. So if they are actually afraid of herdsmen, and they are actually sure it's the herdsmen doing this, why are they afraid of putting cameras in those communities?
Fair point. Let's come here. You have spoken publicly about the clearance of Mother Valley. Can you describe, for someone watching us now who probably has never heard of Mother Valley and doesn't know what is Mother Valley, can you talk us through what you know about Mother Valley?
This is the ground zero of the IPOB ESN criminality in Igbo. The Mother Valley is the place they first instituted this thing that is disturbing Anambra and Imo. The two most important states, if you ask me, in my opinion, in Igbo, they started it way back in 2017. And because of the location of that place, that it's a large forest. That forest, when you come to that forest, it covers Osu-Ihitukwa, Osu-Mohu, Lilu, and Iseke. And our people have this culture of neglecting border communities, especially if this is last community of any local government. It barely gets looked at. It barely gets any development. No government hardly does anything there to bring development over there. Look at Onimo in Imo State. Look at some parts of Uguta between Imo and River. So this is a clear that there is just an ever-abiding characteristic of our communities in Igbo. So they see that it is a very strategic place for them. It has many entrances, it has many exits, so many terrains, difficult terrains to navigate. And now what did they do? They went and rigged around there with cameras because it serves as a natural habitat for them. And that place is where they take the people they are killing, the vehicles they are stealing. In fact, it is the Mbuka outside of Mbuka, because when you get to some parts there, you will see where they are disassembling vehicles and they will turn them into spare parts. You go to Mbuka Obosi today, you will see people who don't have international passports, but they are importing spare parts, all courtesy of the Mother Valley. And this is the place when you hear that they are, all this Onishowe road they made unpassable, that is there. The Asia to Olu road, which will pass through Osumohu and also Itopa, is there. Go and check the important roads, road to Ukpo, road to Asia, road to Osumohu, all these important places, Ihiala LGA to Osu LGA, all the communities. So they chose that place specifically because it's a good hideout for them and it's a difficult terrain for the security operatives to navigate. Though we've pursued them from there, but there is another valley too they call Badania. People don't even talk much about that one, which currently is where all those ones that survived the Mother Valley have run to. That's why we are calling on the Anambra State Governor and the Imo State Governor. They should not stop this operation halfway. Both of them should learn how to work in cohesion and chase these people. If as we've taken over the Mother Valley, once Badana is taken out too, it will now force them to come to the surface. Then with police work, every other thing will be taken care of.
Okay. The Mother Valley. Stay on the Mother Valley. I've seen video you've posted. I've seen video from Kesh also TV. Both of you share. And I see, in the camp that when I look at where those people who lived there or slept there, I can say that they are short of mentally deranged individuals who could live in such condition. I mean, for whatever reason. And moving around these places, I backtrack a little. How did you get to go with the Nigerian army? Did you, for the operation, did you apply to say, I want to go and document? How come you went in there with the security agents to for this operation that is happening there now?
I've always been a part of the security in the Southeast. I write policy documents and send it to them myself. So there is no way you will do all these things and they don't know who you are. And I've seen that in so many operations. Whenever there is an operation against these people, there is one pattern that repeats itself. We have this journalist class in Nigeria where they tend to be looking for anything to attack the government with. Now, being in touch with the leaders of the community, of this community, of course, you know, wherever the military and the police are carrying out such an operation in any place, they will need the locals to help them. And in this also, most of their people are afraid of coming out. Now, having been in touch with the leaders of the community and in touch with the people from also that are giving me information on the movement of these people, it is not difficult to figure out that it's because of the leaders of the community that I'm here. It's not necessarily the army and not the police either. It's because I am working with this. In fact, right now, I have so many people that want me to come to their community, even as we are listening right now. If you ask them how many people want to see me in their community, you will see many. When the job operation will start, you will also see me there. When the Bitol operation will start, you will also see me there. When the Ofoegbu operation will start, you will also see me there. So we are not just talking. We are willing.
Are you documenting? Are you documenting what you see in these places that you go to?
100%. 100%.
And I saw in preparing for this interview, when I shared the link, someone sent me a question where, or rather a video where Asari Dokubo was, in that video while he was eating, he mentioned Ijele, and I believe that is you, saying that Ijele is working with us. So are you working with Asari Dokubo?
100%. Because I'm giving him information. His boys are the ones that are keeping us safe. Right now, anyone can drive from Olu to Osu-Itukwa. Anyone can drive from Ihiala to Osu-Itukwa. Mainly thanks to Asari Dokubo boys. In fact, at the height of it in 2021, do you know how many people they've lost fighting these people? To their IEDs, to gunshot, to so many things. I do well to inform people. My relationship with Alhaji Dokuba Asari, His Royal Majesty Alhaji Dokuba Asari, is not a hidden something. And it's not something I'm afraid of saying publicly. It's not something I'm ashamed of saying. There is no shame in it, and there is no fear. Whatever information they need in sanitizing and salvaging any part of our land, I am making myself available. Everybody, hear me and hear me clearly. Yes, I be Asari Dokubo boy. I be Asari Dokubo boy, and I don't want anyone to say it as if it's something I'm hiding. Or, in fact, I feel insulted, I feel offended that it's only one place that Alhaji has mentioned it. I wish he would be singing it very well, so people will know it is not something we are hiding. Like I said, we are the people that are advocating for openness. So I won't hide it. I won't hide my friends. I won't hide anybody that has helped us in one way or another in saving this place. And I'm willing to work with any single person that wants to salvage Igbo, regardless of what anyone says or thinks about it.
Okay, I saw this video with Osigwe. I want to play this video, and I want you to talk us through this video.
This is the famous Eko to market. Neno Eko to Munnem, Nen if Biafra Mereko to Zetobo Sigwe.
This is what Biafra looks like.
Yes.
Our people are fear. You are seeing it with your eyes. This is what Biafra looks like. And you appear on social media, not total anti. But look at it. Desolation, mayhem, anarchy, chaos. A ghost town. One of the busiest markets in Imo State. Just a ghost town. Because of Naina Biafra. I know a push for agitation. Naina Zobai, Nana Shunde Fulani. Kelon Fulani na be a call to Kelon Fulani na be a call to. I name more why. Banana walk has some.
Now, listening to this, and he referred to that desolate Eko to market as Biafra. Many would argue that Biafra, the name Biafra, has done Ndi Igbo very terrible things during the war and after the war. Others will argue that the name Biafra is the single mumu button of only Igbo, that once that is pressed, reason takes flight. And also, this is not a war zone. The video we watched now, it's a place that people were living peacefully before this whole thing started. I want you to do two things. Do you agree with the narrative that Biafra has not done Ndi Igbo any good? And what should Ndi Igbo do? And secondly, walk us through that video that we just watched.
And secondly, what?
Can you walk us through the video that we just watched?
Let me start by walking you through the video. You see that road you just saw there was newly created by the JTF. Of course, the operation is being led by the 34th Artillery Brigade. Please, the only Igbo person listening to me, if you are praying, pray for the garrison commander of the 34th Artillery Brigade. Pray for the brigade commander of the 34th Artillery Brigade. Pray for their personnel. Pray for the DSS. Pray for the police, beginning from the Tiger Base to the rest. Pray for the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps. And pray for the vigilante, the local vigilante, that is made up of mostly Asari Dokubo boys and some of the members of the community. The amazing job, every single inch of that place you call road was fought for to even clear that road. If you see how many mines that exploded, many places in that place you're seeing is just the outside. The main market itself, there is no grass that is not taller than me there. Wait, 30th of May, the documentary in Zetodosi Igwe, Ezekolo came to film, would air. You will see the drone view of a go-to market. You will see the desolation. You've not seen anything there. When you get to the real market, ask people that know a go-to. That side you're seeing is just the outer layer of a go-to market. When you go to that roundabout where you follow to the main gate is completely sealed. The shortest grass there is taller than me. You can't see a single thing. There is no life there. Now, on whether Biafra has done good or bad, Biafra is so good that even also people said, when this is done and dusted, when their community returns, anybody that mentions anything in Bia, before you say Friday, will bury you alive. They said even a woman selling akara, even the paper you are using to wrap your akara, they see Biafra there. They will bathe you with that hot oil. That is how evil that name has become to every single place it touches. I've asked people a question in 2020, and I'm still asking it to date. Has there been a single time Biafra was mentioned in an Igbo that it did not take lives on industrial scale? Name one, mention once. It happened. And the answer is zero. So why are we embracing death? Why are we embracing evil, expecting to get good at the end of it? Why are we embracing destruction and expecting a renewed Igbo? How, in what way would you sow chaos and reap peace of mind? It never happens anywhere. And it is only our people that want to bathe with petrol and enter fire in a kitchen without catching fire. How do you do that? So our people moving forward need to decide whether our children will be put through what our grandparents and our parents were put through. Now we are enjoying our own Biafra. Underline a quote that enjoyment. What else are we planning for our children? Down the line in 20 years' time for another person, in 20 years' time, my last child will be like 30 years.
So,
32 years. So what are we preparing for them down the line? That is why we need to do away with this, have a solid conversation, a real conversation about this issue. No topic should be off limit. So we will test this and test its spirit, test its way, test its goal to its fullest, distill it to its essence in order to avert this in future.
okay, thank you very much, Ijele. Many people do argue that this operation simply displace criminal elements rather than eliminate them, pushing them into neighboring communities. How do you respond to such criticism that this approach by the state government of both states is only moving the problem around rather than solving it? There were pictures that emerged the day Mother Valley was invaded. Pictures around the internet where people were seen carrying whatever like ammunitions and their wares, and they were running away. So, and those that criticize this and say this will say, these individuals will go into neighboring community. At worst, they will go into the neighboring state. We have not cured the madness. In Chinua Achebe's book, he will say that it's like in the anthill. The bird that perched and moved from the soil and perched in an anthill hasn't made any movement because it's still standing on soil. What do you think?
Okay. And those people that are saying it, when people are saying things, just try to find out what their goal is. So what are they proposing? We sit down and what? Now, what you don't know is that Rome was not built in a day. And this type of operation did not take a day for them to perfect it. So the operation is not what you are going to do in a day. Now, when you are fighting a terrorist organization,
let me add that to the mix. Some said they could have gassed them or whatever and go pick them one by one. Could have gassed the whole vicinity and maybe with sleeping gas or whatever.
Movies are different from reality, my brother. Movies, when they watch movies, you see special forces, they come and throw some gas and people who sleep, they come and arrest them and we have a happy ending. This is not how life works. How are you going to gas them? With what? Most of those things they are showing you on movies, those are banned in the world. No professional army will do it. Now, if you say you want to spread the poison gas around there, where do you think the air will take it to? Igbo is a small place. Just because we want to eliminate maybe 20 or 30 bingos, you will now go and destroy the soil, destroy the environment. You create an environmental hazard where innocent people will breathe in the same gas and die. All those places are people's farms. People will have to go there and farm. People, like right now in Osu, yesterday, the amount of palm fruit, day before yesterday even, the amount of palm fruit these people harvested, Ezi Kolomo was a witness to it. Many of the people that came there, they witnessed it. So imagine if you use such a thing there, that means no one will get into that place. Now, back to the operational goals. There are ways you run operations, and this is why we are asking people, do not bring in security, because you can overnight create insecurity, but it will take time to resolve. The worst thing you can do to a terrorist organization or any organized criminal gang is to deny them their operational base. Now, since we denied them this operational base, I can guarantee you with my life that there has never been a single person that was kidnapped in Ijele, except it's only Asia where they allow them to operate freely. But all these places they used to take as their havens, safe havens, they have not been able to do it. Now, when you deny them that base, you have now forced them to come to the surface. That denial of those bases is something first. Okay, they saw the video.
But you said that this base, hold on, you said that this base, I mean, it's mind-boggling, but sorry, but I need to come back to this. if this base has been here since 2017, that's 11, roughly 11 years now, right? And no one had ever gone in there. So
yes.
we allowed them, so those criminals were allowed operational base for 11 years to destroy
For
this
9
community.
years.
Yeah, 9 years, okay, correct. For 9 years to destroy this community.
Yes,
So,
that is. Remember, these governors in Igbo now, none of them were there when this thing started. So if we are blaming, we blame those that it was their duty to provide security for their people. And mind you, majority of all these communities, when they realize, in fact, also people realized in 2020 that they were even in that forest. But by the time they realized, most of them were seeing them as freedom fighters, based on the lies they were told from Radio Biafra to their local politicians, to even those that should know better, the church leaders, the PGs, all of them. So many people are to blame here. Now, back to the people you saw carrying their Ogbunigwe, their crude nonsense they are using to kill. Most of the people that are killing with those Ogbunigwe are just locals. Villagers that want to go to their farms. You don't know that those places are mined because they don't want you to come in and approach. When you approach, you will see the activities there and go back and tell people because they don't want them there and they want to chase them away from their land and take away all the economic benefits from their land. Of course, also is a good agricultural town that most people don't know. Until you stay here, you see their plantains. Their basket making business was taken over by these people. But that's by the way. Now, some people were harping on those ones they saw running away. Why didn't they also share the videos of the ones that they eliminated? They saw their gravestones in Osumo, because the ones that they killed in the Mother Valley, I mean, the top the top commanders of those people, they were the ones who saw their freshly carved gravestones in Osu. So why didn't they carry that one?
Those things that look like boundary adjustment with names on them, like beacons, those things were great.
Of course.
Wow.
You saw the names of the people that they killed there, yes?
Yeah.
It's part of the, if you notice, all those things were freshly made. It's those ones that they killed in Mother Van, and the rest of them, they left their bodies there. If you go to the back of Odumeje's house, everywhere smells like dead bodies.
Do you have videos of those?
Mines cannot even let you get into that place. In fact, many of them died while running. They jumped into their own mines. You can't move there unless they use bulldozers to create parts there. And while they were clearing with bulldozers, the mines will be exploding. You can't even go there.
So mines doesn't affect bulldozers. Is that what you're saying?
No. The chains are too strong for it. All these are mines. These are the local IEDs. They are using these fertilizers and all these shrapnels they cut and put in there. So when you are clearing the roads, many people can't even access their farms, their homes. In fact, in Uzo's house, in Uzo, they planted 6 in front of it. Then we don't know how many that's inside. That's why it's so difficult for us to, and we can't risk our lives to go look for their bodies. Why? What do we need them for? You go there, everywhere stinks of dead body. So those ones, they themselves even abandoned them. What are we to do? To go and waste our time on those people? We don't have such time.
Okay. As of 2 days ago, this video emerged. I just want to play this.
It is the outer part.
Wow.
Front and back about here, my bag in here. More this place in here.
Ijele, looking at this video, one could say that this, at some point, couple of years back, was a booming market. Walk us through what we saw in this video.
Once again, that place you are seeing is not even the main Eko market. This is the outer part, the overflow of the market. You can't even see the roof of the main market. You see the bushes, the forest you are seeing deep up behind that all those old dilapidated roofs. You are seeing. That's the main market. You are just seeing the outside. No one has entered the real Eko. I don't know the type of wild animals we will be catching there the day we will open it. In fact, the whole Eko would be leveled. It's a gigantic market, a sprawling market. You've not even, that thing you're seeing is the outside. And mind you, many of us were afraid of going inside there because of the IEDs. I don't know if you saw that marking, that blue pole, small pipe you saw there. That blue pipe you saw there.
That is water collection point.
Yes, some of them, they are using it to mark where the IEDs are.
Really?
Yes. You can't, fear won't let you. I mean, the whole Eko would have to be leveled and completely rebuilt. That project will take more than 15 billion naira. If you must rebuild it to this level where it was before this thing started. So if you want to build a full ultra-modern market, I don't know where they're going to get the budget. In fact, these also people, they are very solid and strong people. It's not all communities that will be able to. Do you know how much these people have put in this? This has cost them billions. In fact, I know one of them, I won't mention his name now. He has spent more than 560 million personal money on this. So you understand that there are so many communities. The day you will get to Ofoegbu, that's when you will see the real dilapidation. You will see the main carnage. What you are seeing is just the outside part of Eko. The main Eko market is very close to that roundabout where you used to have MTN mast. Of course, they've taken down the mast, stole every single thing. The pole hosting the antennas, the generators. The only thing remaining there are the concrete slabs. More than 10 masts between here and also LGAs. More than 10 masts. You know, taking them to the Stone Age. Any community you deny that single infrastructure in the name of Biafra.
And in the name of agitation.
Yes.
Okay. Now, from your understanding of the situation, who exactly are the actors driving the insecurity in the Southeast today? Are they ideological groups, criminal networks, or a mix of both?
The only ideology they have is criminality. Criminality is the ideology because even from the organization itself, it was registered in a fraudulent way. And the people who set it up for this sole purpose: deception, stealing, kidnapping, intimidation, subjugation, and land expropriation. There is nothing they are doing today that is not by design. Now, let me tell you how it works. Those in the diaspora are the ones giving it a political face, using it to make money, lying to people that they are going to bring them a new country, telling them all those lies they want to hear. Now they will make them give them money From the senator, Nnamdi Kanu said he was building for Biafra veterans that we've not seen till date. To the radio, they told them we'll bring them Biafra. To the weapons money he has collected, Egondozo with the 1, 2, 3, Defense Fund, War Chest, you name them. Now, those people on the ground are the ones that are using it to do the on-the-ground work for the politicians. During the election period, whichever candidate, now regardless of political party, be it APC, be it PDP, be it Labour, all of them, they work with them. Now, you have those that are making money with it, working for politicians. Then you have their muscles, which are the ones that are carrying guns. They know that their leaders are making money from all these ones. They themselves are making their own money by levying the communities, levying the businessmen from there, industrialists, and all the big boys from that place. Then you have the ones that have people they target specifically. Then there are ones that are into kidnapping, carjacking, of which many of them have become spare parts importers. They now import spare parts into Mbuka, into Ladipo. The one they call iPencil. Somebody told me in Lagos that they saw him in Ladipo. And all these ones that are using truck to carry spare parts for people were carrying GX 450 engine and the RX 350 engine, following him behind. Who are the people he's selling it? So you see that these ones, this is how they make their own money. When Senator Rochas Okorocha said that he gave Nnamdi Kanu 250 million twice, which is 500 million. And 500 million of that time is over 4 billion of today. People like I personally are not going to get a dime from it, but they themselves are making their money from, like, the one time they kidnapped Okuromwe of Enugu, Okuro and Enugu, and all these other people they are kidnapping. So this is how the whole place is set up. You people do your own, eat your money, we'll do our own, eat our money. You don't push us, we don't push you. You give us order, we carry it out. Now, caught in the middle are the innocent indeed.
But you mentioned the incident with Okurora. I think he said no money was extracted from him. They only took what?
No, it's a lie.
Is that something you know more than that?
He inflated, let me explain it to you. He inflated the money. Now, those people now came and said, no, they didn't collect the amount he was mentioning, that it was 450,000 he gave them instead of the 400,000 he gave them instead of the 500,000 he willingly, of course, it's not willfully, it wasn't a willful donation. They met him and asked him, what will you do for us after they wanted to leave him? Then he went and transferred 400,000 to them instead of 500,000. So the problem then was, he said that all the money in his NGO account, the money he went to raise for people, was withdrawn. Now, IPES came and said, no, this is the amount he gave us. We did not collect any money for any ransom from him. We only told him to give us Martin Grant.
So
it was that money that was the problem, not that they didn't collect anything from him. It was the amount. It's
crazy, rather than denying stuff, that people are actually coming up public to clarify the amount that was collected. But some observers say that the line between political agitation and organized criminality has become blurred in the Southeast. Do you agree with this assessment?
Sure.
So, in what sense do you think that political agitation is almost becoming an organized criminality?
Because politics has been bastardized in the Southeast. Hardly any community you go, even in your own community now, go and check the people that are the political forefront. They are people of dubious character. So they ultimately will surround themselves with people that think like him. There are people who will never want to do anything with someone like you because they know there is an agenda they will bring. Someone like you will not support it because you have morals. In a society where you have a class of people that are people reading of morals, people reading of sympathy, human emotions, good character, you are bound to have all of them under one canopy. And it's from one evil person to another despicable person. So this is the reason it seems the line is blurred, because it's the same kind of characters under the same canopy.
Okay. The Southeast used to be known for strong community vigilante system. I recall in my community before 2020, 2021, if you're doing a traditional marriage, we don't need the police. You just do vigilante, because they knew who the criminals were and they were local, so they know whoever comes in the car you drove in with. So if you're going to go out without not the same car, they will know. Why do you think, bearing this in mind, why do you think traditional community security structure have weakened over time, that they are at the point of, because these communities, the videos we've shown, the places you've gone, apparently there is no longer community securities in those places. Why do you think that is so? And how did we get to that point?
Because these people planned every single thing they did. Every single action was by design. Remember when they started this ESN thing, the first thing they did was to disarm every single security in all the communities. And that did not send any signal to our people. They disarmed every single security personnel. I mean the vigilantes. They went and seized every single gun. And that is because the people doing these things are locals. They know the place very well. And they hit the criminality under the single thing that closes the thinking faculty of an average Igbo man, which is Biafra. And we're promising them heaven on earth. So that was why it was easy for them. And now what they did was they will come to, most of all, there is no single person from Osu that is a commander in ESN here in Osu. Knowing that people know their people very well, they will bring someone from outside and tell you, oh, this one is the commander. The one in that valley side and that area controlling them is Butuzo. He's from Umutanze. He's not from Osu. Now, why didn't he go to Umutanze and do it? Because Umutanze people will not let him. People who would not be allowed to carry a plastic knife in their communities were now armed with guns and given different communities altogether. And you know, when you are operating from your own community, there are things you can't do, because for life, that thing will be with you, it will be with your household, and for all intents and purposes, nothing lasts forever. Even these two shall pass one day, and when that time comes, the people must come for them. That's why you see the first person that was there controlling all of them was Sapele from Ebonyi State. Now, until they had a problem, is what after they killed baby, bush baby, that Butuz and Co, Gentle and the rest, with Zuma, joined together and pursued Sapele from this side. Sapele, of course, was loyal to Benjamin Madbugu, and these other people created their own. That was the very first rift that happened there. And in all this, it is people from all these other different communities they bring. And the first thing they will do is to remove whatever resistance in the community. That's why they first eliminated those vigilantes, then became the vigilante. When the wolves are guarding the hen house, please, what do you expect?
Now, based on your investigations and the engagement you have had with security agents to move around with them, what are the major root causes of the insecurity in the Southeast that you have come to realize? Is it political grievance that people say Ndi Igbo are being marginalized? Is it economic hardship that we say we do not have federal presence in the Southeast? Is it state failure because the states are being run by those who are not supposed to be in governance? Or is it as a result of criminal opportunism that, people just want to do things and because they are criminals? Or is it something else? What do you have to tell us?
The fulcrum of the whole thing is greed. Because when you see people that want to live beyond their means, they are willing to do anything. And we've lost our humanity. You can't tell me it's marginalization. If it's marginalization, why are the ordinary people the ones suffering it? Who do you say they are marginalizing? Ordinary people. Now, who are you killing? Ordinary people. Not as if they were targeting only the political class. Not as if they can only target the political class if you belong to the political group that is not giving them money. So all these things about agitations, all this is just a cover. This is pure criminality. And let's tell the truth, we have one of the most evil people. See how I rate evil people in Nigeria. The leadership of the North, not Northerners. The leadership of the North. All these things you are seeing, Boko Haram, all this. Have you noticed that Boko Haram does not operate in a place where you don't have gold mines, lithium, uranium, and the rest? They are willing to kill their own people, hiding it under religion. This is the same way. Our own people have people that are willing to kill Igbo under fake agitation. These are the two groups that are leading the insecurity in the Southeast, because nothing is whatever they told you it is. The insecurity in the North, believe me, is about resources. The insecurity, if not, shouldn't the COVID-19 period be the best time they would have taken over everywhere? Why didn't anybody fight? Why weren't they taking anything? Because activities were closed. So they were busy camped wherever they are. Immediately the companies restarted. People that are manufacturing batteries, they need lithium. They need so many things. These electric car companies, the moment they started working again and people started buying raw materials, it started again. Are you understanding it now? All the kidnappings, when they did Naira crunch, why did it stop? Why did it stop? Because it's about the money. So this is the same thing. Until we start calling our problems what they are, it has nothing to do with agitation. It has nothing to do with anything else other than evil. This is pure evil. Evil distilled to its essence. There is nothing anyone will tell me. The person that is buying the neighbor, many people are just using it to settle communal clashes. For instance, in Umunoha, not far from where I am now, Nosonkwa, his own clan, Umuoparanyanwu in Umunoha, have been locked in a land dispute with Umuoparume people because I-Pencil, B44, and co. All these people are loyal to the Umuoparanyanwu people. There is one of them called Gaddafi and the other one in Japan that are their biggest sponsors in Umunoha. For that reason, they want to take these people's land and give to them. Okay, tell me, that land dispute, what has it got to do with agitation? What has it got to do with marginalization? So who is being marginalized in that place? A land case that has been won in the Supreme Court since 2018. Now, last month, they called the entire family heads of that clan and told them to come and sign away their lands to them. People that say they are fighting for Biafra, but they want these people to come and sign the Nigerian document in order to give out their land. So who is fooling who, my brother?
In one of your videos, you talked about Allen Onyama.
Yes.
And the president of PG, or rather the president general of Osumo. Could you tell me in what light you were referring to them? Are you averse? Okay. Because some argue that their interventions were to see if they can broker peace. Are you averse to, brokering peace with, in any way, shape, or form, to find a solution to what is happening to their community?
If you broker peace where there are two warring factions, but in a situation where someone just started carrying guns and killing people, there should be no nothing like peace talk because there was no war in the first place. It is only one side killing the other side. Now, why I was fixated with on Allen Onyema was I saw a video. We have not solved this issue. There has never been a disarmament. There has never been restitution. And you are telling the people to forget what happened. How do we forget what happened when more are still happening? We've not even resolved the issue. You went as far as telling them, nobody should be talking about what they did or use it to speak to them. And rather than going to talk about how to revitalize our communities, you are now profiling solution, and your solution is to build homes for people that burnt people's homes. Are you encouraging evil or are you discouraging it? No disarmament.
I thought his reference in building homes was to build homes for those who have lost their homes, because
No. To settle those that are doing the thing. That is the problem. So how do you think ordinary people will be feeling when you are somebody that is being looked up to save the society? To the privileged lies responsibility. And your own, you should have just kept quiet. You should have just remained quiet. Instead of saying something like that, you are not discouraging the crime. Now, when you make such a statement, if there is anyone that is having a double mind in order to whether to change or not, you are not telling them to go ahead. The more you kill, the more we settle you. This is we always get whatever you encourage.
But let me play the devil's advocate. In the time of the Niger Delta militancy and the problem that arose therefrom, there was no warring faction. We had a set of individuals who were aggrieved, and they were blowing up pipeline that was affecting Nigeria. And Nigeria had the technology and what it took to crush every single individual. But at some point, they didn't. They used back channel to broker peace. Isn't that the same thing the person in question is trying to do, to broker peace and to
give you the
because
difference.
hold on, because if you pay attention, I recall that there was a time, I think Ikenga, and was amplifying what Anambra state government was offering, which is amnesty. And you cannot do, when you do amnesty, you're not doing an amnesty to someone who is innocent. You do amnesty to someone who has obviously been against the state, who has gone against the natural order. And in that sense, isn't that what Allen is trying to do? To say, okay, of course, we may shoot ourselves out of this, or we may go in and negotiate with these criminals and whoever they are and see if we can broker peace. Don't you think so?
Okay. Let me give you the difference here.
Okay.
The Niger Delta, they were fighting a legitimate cause. And they had a bargaining chip. What was their bargaining chip? You give us, that time they were asking for 30% of whatever comes from their land. At the end of the day, the federal government settled for 13. And that 13 is what Imo State is benefiting today. Other State is benefiting today. Anambra is benefiting today. Soon Enugu will join too.
Well, okay. In playing my devil's advocate, you're talking about 30%, and the other one can say, well, if you give me what we want, if you don't listen to us, your kids won't go to school on Mondays or stuff like that.
Hold on, no, I'm coming. That's why I'm coming. Those people, we are bargaining with oil that is in their land. But these ones have gone to our own head. Are you understanding the difference now? You are now telling me that you will kill Igbo if they don't give you, like, who the hell are you? Onto what? So we are now your bargaining chip. You have castrated us now. You have finished us in that aspect. when your own threat is not to stop the economic lifeblood of this country. It is your own people. Just weigh the two. And above all, the Niger Delta issue, there was disarmament. How do you talk about amnesty without disarmament? Huh? Who does that? So these are two different things. Now, let me tell you one thing else. At the beginning of this my fight with Nnamdi Kanu, somebody who used to live with my uncle in Moscow, that was, I think they lived together around 96 or 90, that's 20 years ago. Then when we were discussing, he told me, okay, even if Biafra does not come, do you know how much the federal government spent on the Niger Delta peace deal, amnesty program? Don't you know if you join during that time, you'll be one of the people that will make money from the amnesty program? Believe me, somebody said this thing to me. Then the thing shook me to my bone marrows. It shook my soul. I was like, wow. This bloodshed, this bloodletting that is about to foot. Mind you, that was early 2020 or mid 2020, sorry. I was like, oh, for the money of amnesty, you people are willing to lie to people about this Biafra tale. And you are willing to waste thousands of Ndibo, which they've done now. So, would you have all this information and still support that amnesty program? That means you are encouraging someone else to try it tomorrow.
So
But
in that sense, the amnesty, if you recall that when Professor Chukwuka Soludo took over, he appointed Professor Chedo Dinkalo to head a commission that is geared towards reconciliation and finding the immediate remote cause of the agitation and the criminality that we had in the Southeast. Now, part of the recommendation is to engage and talk about amnesty. Does it then mean that that report and also the proposed amnesty that even the governor of the state had spoken about a couple of times, are you then saying that you are, and you're not in support of any form of amnesty, if so given?
I was never in support of that amnesty, but as at that time, I was willing to accept anything that will stop the bloodshed, knowing very well it will not even stop it, but the proof is in the pudding. You have seen it. It clearly didn't work. If it did, why is what's happening in Asia still happening? All the vehicles they are selling in Asia belong to Igbo. Why are they still buying people? Go to Okigwe now. Abobu is finished. Umulolo gone. What's the name of this place very close to Izog? I'm blanking on that name. We have not even gone to Onimo LGA. Now, very close to my place. I'm from Umudura Amandoba. When you get to Umuaka, if you are coming from Owerri, the right part of Umuaka is peaceful, but the entire left side is finished. So in Anambra, Orumba North, Orumba South, all these places that's bordering Umunoch and Oji River, you know where Anambra has a boundary with that Abia and the Enugu State. Go there. So Professor Chidok Dinkalo clearly did not succeed. As benevolent as what he proposed sounded, you are not reasoning with people that think like human beings.
I don't think that if it will be fair to say that Professor didn't succeed. I think it's a question of, as we say in Igbo, onya na for law or and in this sense,
that means this so I'm not blaming Professor Dinkalu per se. Professor Dinkalu did what he thought is the best. Like back to that similarity bias I told you. As an Igbo man, he is not in support of anything that will bring more bloodshed, because he believes the people these people buy are Igbos, and once you go after them, you are also buying Igbos. That was his thinking. But people like us believe in controlled fire. We believe in controlled demolition. Instead of allowing this house to be posing a threat to some people when it falls, is either keep people over there or over this side, why not we take it down ourselves? This is my own proposal, and I arrived at that conclusion after carefully analyzing the people doing what they are doing, what they've already done, and knowing how it's going to end. So
Now,
I just closed my emotions over the weekend. But I'm just telling you.
But do you then agree if some people, criticize you that by your public, because you're someone within that region that controls, that people of these areas where this conflict are listening to you, that by you calling out Allen Onyema at that point and the PG of Asia and Osmo, who were somehow trying to see if they can use back channel for any form of resolution, if you had not spoken about it, kept quiet, don't you think that, because at the end of the day, if some of these boys can be bought out, even if it means paying them money and retraining them, because it's not just giving them money, maybe one of the things they might be planning to is buy you out. Okay, you have an AK. How much is AK? Let's say at so costly, 2.5 million. But if we are able to come out, we'll train you, give you a trade, and give you 15 million, 20 million to go start a life and start a trade and be useful to the society as opposed to living to the bush.
Multiply their number, you will then multiply their number by 1,000 times. And how else are you going to tell another young boy that refused to join that he is doing the right thing by not joining? We are Igbo. Are you getting me?
But we are drawing but we are drawing a line in the sand. It's not that.
Wait, I'm coming, my brother. Please, 1 minute. Let's not mix up Allen Onyema and it's not the current PG of Asia, is the last one. The former PG of Asia that is also controlling the current one. Now, Allen Onyema is a businessman. He is one of the people I call the Amnesty industrial complex beneficiaries. He alone knows the ulterior motive, if any, why he's doing all those things. But the former PG of Asia, and I'm telling you in no unclear terms that he is not an unwilling participant. Are you understanding me? These are like Callistus or Chiara. These are the people that have taken this as business because it has given them power, made them the most powerful men. In fact, before I used to think that the Igbo of Asia was involved, only to find out that even Igbo Asia was afraid for his life. He ran away. So we are not discussing about innocent people that are actually trying to bring closure to this. Allen Onyema, he doesn't need all this their money. But of course, when the federal government gives the contractor, he must run through him, and you know what's up. But the former PG of Asia, people like him, in Asia, the former PG of Asia, Callistus or Chiara of Osumo, these people are not neutral observers, neither are they government negotiators. They are the heart of the whole thing. They are in the nucleus of this whole disaster. And I can tell you for free, people like them don't want this to end, because the moment it ends, Osumo people will hang Callistus or Chiara. Asia people will roast their former PG alive. So don't mix them up together. Allen Onyema is saying it based on his own way. Of course, it doesn't affect him. It doesn't affect anyone.
No,
His
it does,
family,
of course. How can you say it doesn't affect him?
it
For
does not
someone
affect
who
him directly.
no, someone who nearly cried on video when he came back, I think after 3 years or so, every single one of them ran away, even with the, highest number of military personnel. You still, I mean, you can't be sleeping like you're in the war zone.
If my brother, if he has lost a brother like that Basimelo family, or the Akunyile family, if he had lost a child, if he had lost a wife, like so many people, he will. That's what I'm telling you. It's not affecting him. Yeah, he may show concern, but the limits at which he will go far against these people is totally different from someone like Chief Joe Ibokwe. Look at what they did to him, and are still doing to him. Look at people that have actually been affected, people that have directly been threatened, people that have directly felt the fangs of this evil snake. It is different for them. So when I said it does not affect him, I mean he has never personally had the negative run-in with them. If they kidnap anyone from his family, he will just call Benjamin Madubugu or Chinasa Nworu, and they will call those people that took them and tell them to release them. Yes, I've seen it happen multiple times with some people. I can give you names. There is one girl I know, a very good friend of mine. When they kidnapped the brother, they called, somebody told me, she didn't tell me herself, but somebody from the family told me that it was Chinasa Nworu that they called. And Chinasa asked her, where is the place, where did they take him? Immediately she mentioned it. He called some people, and the people he called actually were the ones with the guy. And they released him. So this is, so many of them are doing this because they believe that they know the organs that actually own those camps. So whenever anyone from their family is involved, they know who to call.
Okay, we've talked so much about the Mother Valley. That's not the only place that we have crisis in Igbo today. We have the Owerri. We have Arondizo. And recently, since you work with the, you do some work, you understand and you mingle with the Nigerian military, it will be unfair if I do not ask you this question, because many people will be thinking, so why did he not attempt this question? End of last year, the military made a video stating that, one of the ring leaders of those in the bushes by name Gentle the Yahoo, that he was eliminated, or rather that he was in their custody. And in January, the said individual made a video showing that he's alive, that he was poisoned, mentioned your name, mentioned about 3 or 4 other individuals. Now, how do you juxtapose that the Nigerian military said we have an individual, not on press statement, but on video? The same individual that they said they had comes out and laughs at them as though they do not know what they are doing. There is also, at the back of it, a narrative that a certain individual, I believe you know this story, a certain individual who is within the DSS was meant to go and do certain job. And at the verge of trying to do that, he was arrested and he's been kept in custody till now. How do you respond to these two issues?
Okay. Yeah, you are talking about Gentle the Yahoo, Gel Makeup, B44, Uwaha, the one they call Uwam, and the rest of them. Now, let me give you that story, and it is one of the reasons I decided to put myself in this position of going to see things for myself. Mind you, that comment did not come from the 34 Artillery Brigade. Let me give you the story people don't know, and there are things the military can't tell you because it makes them look bad or terribly somehow. That's why they can't talk. But as a civilian and as somebody that is not bound by any military code, there was an operation to take down Gentle. And I am saying it openly. When the time comes, Okigwe people will have to ask their political leaders what business they have with Gentle. Beginning with the local government chairwoman of Okigwe LGA to their senators, the former ones and the current one. They need to ask them real questions and demand answers from them. There was an ongoing operation that was in Okigwe that time. The army almost killed Gentle then. And that operation, had it been sustained for 2 more weeks, believe me, Gentle would have been caught like this because there's no other place he can operate freely than that their Okigwe area. Now, some people approached the Imo State government from my source and told them that Gentle and these people will have a leadership meeting in IPOB. That in that meeting, they would meet with their cook and tell their cook to do some things that I can't say openly. Of course, you know where I'm going with it. Then, those people were able to convince the person that spoke with them from the government. Remember, they did not meet with the governor himself. Without letting the governor know what their mission, the actual nature of the mission, they only told them to bring the money and they will do this. The governor, be that he want to see this end, gave them the money. They went and staged a fake poisoning that they poisoned Gentle and co. And you know, under the military code, you are not allowed to use such means. And 34 artillery here refused to go ahead with it. For whatever reason, now them know who them gave that information. If you notice, that information came from Army headquarters. And the Army headquarters will not be in Abuja and know what happened here.
So that
in
means,
Imo State.
That means the Army rank and file has basically disgraced Nigerians. And those involved should be fired.
No.
Okay.
It's to find the people in our political class, because while we have an army in Nigeria, it is still
Ijele here. Was it the political class that asked the army to make such statement? I mean,
my brother, who do you think sent that message? That message did not come from the military garrison here. It did not come from them. Wait, you ask the question. Let me explain to you first.
Okay.
Now, the moment you hear that thing was the moment the people here in Obrinze heard it. Then I called somebody very close to the Oga. I said, how true is this? They said, they are just hearing this for the first time. Even though I made a video, I was reluctant to follow that thing. Of course, when the army has made the report, and being that I can't be found to be disputing what the authorities said and all those. This same guy you talked about, that same DSS guy you talked about, was who called me that same evening and told me that Gentle is alive, that I should not buy that thing. 2 days later, he called me and told me that Gentle, his own boy saw Gentle at Abobo. Now, whatever went on then, I didn't know, and I didn't want to come and be saying that in openly. Of course, I told Ikenga that he didn't. I was arguing with Ikenga behind. He can confirm this thing. I told, he even showed me a photo of someone that looks like Gentle that was lying down with his face. I told him, no, this thing looks so staged. I told him it looks so staged, and the person that gave me this information gave me the right information. I trust him. He is from that place. In fact, when Gentle was learning carpentry in Aba, which he spent only 6 months and ran away, he was living with the guy. So this is a guy that knows him very well. Then I told him, this guy told me this, only for me to hear one day that they arrested the guy. And I don't want to call the other person that told me, then Ikenga also told me the story, that this guy told them that they want to go and do an operation, and if he doesn't buy or bring out Gentile in handcuffs, that they should go and do video and tell people that he's a thief, because there was a little money they gave to him, only to find out I was arrested. And I've done my very best, took it some of the generals I know in Abuja, took it to some people I know in the DSS in Abuja, and told them what happened till date. And they only told me that the guy has a case with the director of DSS in Owerri, who I'm not fond of. We even had an issue in front of the brigade commander in this also operation. I'm sure he will be listening. He knows I don't care about him. He doesn't care about me. He doesn't like me. I don't like him. So you are as confused as I am as to whether that DSS guy that say he wants to arrest him is saying the truth or not, or is that there is something else happening. And like I said, that's the reason I want to be on the ground here. And when the Okigwe operation will begin, I will also be on the ground. Because where I am now,
Okay. Ikenga, let me ask you a very point-blank question. Do you honestly think that some security agency or some personnel are sabotaging the operation? Likewise, some political appointees or political actors.
100%. 100%. First, I know of a general from Idambi Tolu Njaba LGA, but I know the place. I don't want to target anybody specifically, that paid B44 men 20 million naira.
To do what?
I know so many policemen in Imo Command that have been arrested, giving information to these people. When the former DSS director, Wikos Idams, was in Imo State, I know how many police people they arrested that are working in cahoots with these people. Then, on the political front of it, do not take my word for it. Please try and invite George Onibe, who was their former African rep and Nigerian rep concurrently. Let him tell you the politicians they've been in their homes. And I know so many politicians that today don't want to see me eyeball to eyeball because of this IPOB issue. So there is nothing like, do you think? No, this is a known thing. In fact, many of them even brag with it. There are people in the police, in the army, in the DSS that are subservient to the same politicians because they are joined at the hip of these same politicians, because these boys work for those same politicians. Many of these people got into the services they are working in right now through those same politicians. So they are loyal to them. Indirectly, they are loyal to this IPOB ESN.
So are you saying, in essence, when you made an allegation of a general allegedly making some payments, and maybe others...
Even one police AIG paid 5 million too.
So now, may I ask, why do you think they were making those payments?
Like I told you, many of those people got into the job, were getting their juicy positions and some promotions through these same politicians that are using these boys.
No, I understand that part. I understand, but I do not understand the intersection, of them paying money to these boys. I don't understand that intersection. Of course, I understand, yes, some of them may have been appointed by police, sometimes as oddly, and they could climb within the ladder. Of course, that is given. But why would a serving officer or a military officer pay money to these?
Many of them think it will insulate them from danger. They've already kidnapped a major general in Adigba and killed him. Many of them believe it will insulate them from the danger, and some of them, in order to be seen as the people that are not against their people, because these people came with emotional blackmail. So many of them were doing all those things in order for some people not to say they hate their people. And some of them have future political plans. They are, in their mind, they are laying foundation for, in the future, when they will be running for offices, it will be easy for them. They would have created that relationship and they will be nurturing it up until when they will run for office, they will use them.
So it will be fair to say that both the security agents, politicians, traditional institutions are all scared of their lives.
Not necessarily scared. They just want to be part of the system. They love power. They just want to be a part of the people that are in control of it. They brag with it, oh, that they can go to their homes whenever they want. And those ones will be hailing them, praising them, even providing security for them. That's why some of them allow them to be using their communities for whatever they want to do.
Okay. I saw this video on Keshosu TV that basically tells a story. Let's watch.
Welcome to Keshosu TV channels. Ebe na-afụ n'ihe onyonyo abụọ ụlọ ekpere ndị Katọlik nke akpọrọ Sacred Heart Parish Church, Sacred Heart Catholic Parish Church, Osu-Ihite-Ugwa. Ebe na-afụ ugbu a bụ ebe akpọrọ Father's Quarter. Achọ nke ị na-ene anya. Ị na-ene anya na-agbakọ n'obi gị, especially ma ị bụrụ onye kwere na nzukọ Kraịst. Ọtụtụ oge ka anyị ji ekwu okwu na ihe gbasara agitation a na-eme na-enwere some things behind it, mana ụfọdụ ndị mmadụ ekweteghị. Ekwenyere nkwesị ike na ihe onyonyo a ga-eme ka ịghọta na ihe ndị a niile anyị gwara gị bụ eziokwu. Mgbe ndị agitator batara n'obodo a, ha gbara mbọ imechi ndị mmadụ ikpe ekpere n'aha Jizọs Kraịst, mana o toghịkwa aka ha kwụsị. Maybe oge ha chọpụtara na ndị mmadụ ebidoro inyo ha n'omume ahụ, ha buru bịa na chọọchị a. Ha nyere iwu ndị fada nọ na chọọchị a that na-enye onyinye offering, onyinye ọbụla enyere na nzukọ a ma nke ejiri bịa tụ mma na-aga eke ya ụzọ atọ. Ha nwa bụ ndị agitators ga-ewere ụzọ abụọ, nzukọ Kraịst ewere ofu ụzọ. Ihe akwụkwọ ndị bịara ịgwa anyị na ha gara ishu nwere onwe.
Now, without going into the details of this video, watching this video, what comes to mind?
You know, that thing he said did not happen just in Osu. It happened in so many places. St. Mary's Catholic Church, Osumohu, in front of that place, if you go there, you will see like 3 different bodies burnt in 3 different places. Then you go to the back of the church. That one is a no-go area. Of course, there are IEDs inside there. Now, inside the church, some part of the church, you will see used condoms there. Now, we oftentimes hear about persecution of Christians, but you don't hear the church establishment in the South talking about what these people did in the Southeast. Do you know how many churches? We did not even go to St. Andrew's Anglican Church or Osu-Ihite-Ugwa, because if we had gone there, you would see a war state. At least this one now is not even, it has not been taken over by nature. That one completely taken over by nature. The place is still so risky to set foot on. And of all the cries about Christian persecution in Nigeria, not once did we hear anything. So have you seen the complicity of the church establishment in this? Once again, most of those priests you see rely on the patronage of these politicians. So whatever will anger these politicians, and these boys work for the politicians, they will never make mention of the atrocities. And that is betrayal of their parishioners. I'm not a Christian, but I'm from the Southeast. I grew up in a Christian home. I know how important, the importance we place on our churches, especially our local parishes in our villages. All those parishes have become a part of the people's culture, a part of their life. Almost all the big men you see in Igbo, they are part and parcel of their, in fact, product of their local churches in the villages. But not once did you hear any of them say something about this. They burnt down many places in that church. The new cathedral they were building, because that place was supposed to be a cathedral in no distant time. Do you know these guys were ripping out the rods, metal rods they were using for the roofing, and they will cut them into pieces and use it as sharpness for their IEDs. They went there. If you see, you should have played it to the last. Let them see the entire church compound. Kesh was even more, of course, it's the community. He made more videos than me in that place. He went inside, went to so many places. I don't know if he uploaded them or not. But you go there, you see how they desecrated churches. We don't joke with our holy places. Once again, I don't care where you fall on Christianity or not, but people have taken this place as a sanctuary, as a holy place, separated from the rest. But these guys, they didn't care. They went, burnt them, destroyed them, and was even extorting the parish priest. Extorting the parish priest, forcing him to divide whatever offering they got into 3 and give them 2 parts, taking only 1. The bishops were there, they didn't say anything. We have cardinals here, they didn't say anything. The Catholic Church in Nigeria is not a small body, yet they didn't say anything. Shame on them, actually.
Now, we talked about the conventional church that we know, the Catholic, the Anglican. There is this one, I don't know what to call them. It's whether it is Pentecostal or prophetic or musical, I don't know. Comical sometimes, but you guys went to the house of Chukwuka Ohanemere Odumeje, popularly known as Odumeje, the lion himself. And this is the video you guys
see the Odumeje's house in Osihitopa in Imo State. This is his village house. Unknown gunmen destroyed it. You see? See how they destroyed it. Very massive house. Very massive house. See how they destroyed this beautiful house. Wow. Kahara Salobo Odumeje. You can hear the sound of gun. You see? See the level of destruction. See the level of destruction. See the level of destruction of Odumeje's house. The modern value.
So this is one thing you said before I played this video, that you can stay at Odumeje's house and overlook the mother value. Basically, as it is, it appears that his house is the last house to the mother valley, right?
Yes, it's the last frontier.
Okay. So I mean, to be honest with you, sometimes when I look at this, I don't necessarily had imagined that we still have this vast land in Igbo and a place so beautiful as this. To be honest with you, can you imagine? Looks like what you see in elsewhere, not even in the motherland. Okay, so now looking at this, Odumeje has been heard on multiple times, not saying anything. If not that this video came out, nobody would know that he was a victim. The churches, you alluded to it before, never spoke up. All we hear is Christian genocide and church buildings burnt elsewhere. But same is almost happening in Igbo. Let's take Odumeje as a case study. Why do you think he kept quiet and he doesn't want to talk about the things that befell him? If you take someone like Joe Igbo has been very outspoken, showing pictures, sharing pictures of what has happened to him. But on the other hand, Odumeje has not shown any of those. Why do you think that is so?
Odumeje has committed himself immensely on this matter. He has on multiple occasions spoken in favor of Nnamdi Kanu, who is the leader of all this whole nonsense. Now, sometimes I think it's shame. Too, it could also be threat. Because what these guys are doing is to threaten everyone that has a platform. And many of them, they force them to endorse what they are saying, knowing that those people have followers. And their endorsement would help give credence to the criminality they are doing. So some of these people, and you cannot also discount the possibility of pandering to the same politicians that own this, but of course they will be giving him patronage. And he doesn't care. He will put the patronage of all those politicians and their eggs ahead of what's happening to him. Moreover, remember when these things started, they were using all these their bot farms to promote all the accounts and all the pages that are promoting Nnamdi Kanu. It became a kind of an incestuous ring. You know, some of all these so-called comedians, some of the so-called whatever, and because they want that followership, they will be pandering to them. They will hide it under Igbo-ness. They will hide it under, oh, this is our thing. This is our Biafra. This is our nye, nye, nye. Because they know that their careers and their views can't stand on their own, on its own 2 feet. So they will need this thing as support. That's why many of them were doing all those things they were doing. And Odumeje himself was making, of course, it gives him social media money. He probably made more money from social media promoting that garbage than he lost in this his home. And many of them sometimes is short-sightedness. They didn't see it all clear. They didn't, what some people, they love throwing stones in a crowd without realizing that there is a possibility it could be going to the heads of any of their family members or their children. So I believe this is what led to what happened to him. And right now he can't say much because he will be contradicting himself, and the public is alive and well to his antecedents and his previous support for the leader of the organization.
Okay. In all this, in closing, in all this, what do you think is the possible solution? Let's discuss possible solution. One, there could be intelligence-driven security operations, community policing structure, dialogue and reconciliation. One thing that I know that you do not appear not to entertain, but at least, like I said, there is never a time any community would shoot itself up to victory. The people go to war, and after war, they still go back with their enemies and sit down and have some uncomfortable discussions. So what do you think that on many plans, Igbo leaders, citizens, government, what should they do on multiple planks as we round up?
We have tried that peaceful resolution. And like I alluded when you said you talked about Allen Onyema, please, we have tried this dialogue. The ones that will embrace dialogue have embraced dialogue and left that camp. All these ones that are still remaining there is nothing else you will do to them, because the alternative would be them going back to becoming nobodies. And many of them have committed so many atrocities that their victims will never forgive them. They know that they bet everything on it. They went all in on this evil, and there is no way down for them. Now, we may try to sound pleasant. We may try to sound considerate and pretend that dialogue will work on this one. It will never. The time of dialogue was yesterday. Those who will embrace it have embraced it. The rest that are there, the only thing that will change their mind if they see there is no other option than death. It is total and complete mercilessness, total and complete destruction of every single person that has killed an Igbo man or woman, even non-Igbos. All these people will be made to realize that there is nobody coming to give them any money to stop. We will not pay anyone to stop killing our people. We will not pay anyone to live at peace with his neighbor. It is a complete military action, and all the communities should be ready to arm their own people with weapons, with modern surveillance equipment. Once again, why can't communities put cameras at every entry point of their community? Let us put cameras everywhere. Let cameras see everywhere. No government will do this thing for you. And you can't tell me that towns in Igbo will not be able to rig their communities with cameras. It's impossible. We need to use technology. We need to use a kinetic approach, and people need to bring back local vigilantes. Everybody will be protecting their towns. All the people that will be the vigilante member personnel will have to come from the community. That way, when an outsider comes, you will know. This is the only solution there is for this matter. We can go ahead and pretend there is another means, and in the next 5 years, we'll still be here discussing this matter.
Thank you very much, Ijele. And at this point, we will
You're
take
welcome.
questions from our audience. You know, if you are in this room and you have any contribution to make, or you have a question to ask my guest, please, you can raise the digital hand. I will call you up too. Then I'll go online. I will see some of the comments are obviously as usual. Some of them are very disagreeing, but be that as it may, let me take one that I think because it's something that I have been seeing almost all the time. I would want to take one comment that spoke around Asari Dokubo, because it's been a reoccurring decimal online, and I want you to react to that. They said that hold on, where is that again? Sorry, there is one comment before now. Was it deleted? Okay. The comment goes like this, that when you talked about a kotutu was when that was said, that the allegation on a kotutu and one that why that was deserted, that it was deserted because of Asari Dokubo's men who pursued the people out of the community. So what do you have to say about that?
It's laughable, of course, and I mean also, there is no single person from Osu-Itukwa that is insulting Asari Dokubo. There is no single. I'm happy in the Togo see when the people of Osu-Itukwa see security vehicle, they are happily waving at to you. They will be waving at you, thanking you. They are glad they are there. Please, those people that are saying that thing, go and check how many of them are from Osu. Let them come on video here. Let the person come on video with their face and their name. Let's see. You can never see anyone from Osu saying that rubbish. Most of the people saying that thing are the people profiting off of this evil.
You know, in the comments section now, I have shared the link to join this conversation. In the comment section, a lot of people are there typing out. If anybody thinks there are things, you know, Ijele has said something that needs to be challenged, of course. Do not be a keyboard warrior. Ijele is here showing his face. Myself here, we are having a serious conversation. Therefore, if you think you need to debunk anything he has said, the link to join, just click on it, one touch, you will come into the meeting and you can make your contribution, right? So those of us also in here, you know, just let me know if any of you want to say anything. If any of you want to say anything, let me know. Okay, and again, some individuals are saying, when we mentioned Professor Chidodin Kalu, and they said that Professor Chidodin Kalu had done a professional work with regards to taking down of humans in Anambra and its surrounding, but the implementation is left for someone else to do. My question to you, do you think that, you know, as regards to that report and its content, do you think that the government of Anambra were forceful enough in implementing the report holistically?
Like I said, Professor Soludo, there is only much you can do when the people you are dealing with don't even want to hear what you're saying. What was he to do in all that? They gave them that free amnesty regardless of what they did, and they didn't accept it. Like, what was he supposed to do? That's why I'm telling you, Professor Chidodin Kalu did like water down his report, how he was supposed to be. If I had written that report, believe me, it would have been bloody. As bloody as it would have been, if it was implemented, it would have taken less than 4 months. By now, all those things will be things of the past. For instance, right now, I'm still calling for the complete extermination of every single person that is still carrying guns, threatening people. Like, why would we even fall to the level? How do we degenerate to the level where we are now negotiating with these people that are killing our own people? Really?
But yeah, but the argument, Ijele here, hold on. In this argument, you see them online when they hear, oh, they are negotiating with bandits in the north, in Zamfara and in Castina, right? So when I hear people make that argument that the government is negotiating, so, that means they want to be negotiated with too.
Hold on, please. Now that's what I'm asking you. That you have wicked people in the north that hate their people, instead of battling the people that are killing their people, because these are their miners, their leaders are using those people to protect their mines, and they'll be talking about negotiating with them. We also should repeat the same? Really? Like, this is, the people saying this thing, their minds are scrambled. Like, how is this even a solution? How do you even sit down and think this? How do you internalize such rubbish that people in the north hate their people to the point of saying they want to negotiate with them. We should be repeating the same here.
Okay.
Really, then what makes us different from them?
Okay.
What then makes us different?
Okay. I have Igwe GC Onyediri, who has raised up his hand. You can go ahead and unmute, sir. Okay, go ahead with your submission or question.
Yes, my name is His Royal Highness Igwe Dr. Godson Sioyedere, the Igwe King of Lille, ancient kingdom. And the Lille happens to be one of the communities affected seriously by the menace of the unknown gunmen. And my question...
Nice, you know, sorry, you joined us early enough, and I'm happy as one of the, you know, affected communities that their traditional ruler is here with us. You know, His Royal Highness, you are welcome, and may I yield the floor for you now.
Thank you, sir. And I think my question will go to Ijele himself, the word acclaimed Ijele. Ijele, thank you for everything you are doing. But my question will be, do you think the Nigerian military, Nigerian police, and the other security operatives will be able to handle the situation of non-gunmen and combat them effectively, considering that the fact that you alluded in your presentation before that some top-ranking military officials and police officers are actually complicit in you know, in whatever we are fighting against. What do you think? Do you think eventually that they will be able to, you know, do this job? Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Ijele, over to you.
Thank you so much, Igwe. Because, you know, I forgot to mention the Anambra side. Prior to now, all those military people in Anambra from this 302 battalion, they are just there for photographic sake. I can tell you, if they had the will, we would have cleared Lilu and also Osumohu within the first 2 weeks. And it is up to the governor of Anambra State to take his report to the defense headquarters and find out if there is any deal reached at his back, behind him, by these people that makes it possible for these guys to be escaping through 2 army FOPs. Yes, it is possible to fight them, but so many things will have to change. There needs to be a personnel change, and there needs to be an attitude change from the military. The attitude change from the people has come already. Of course, many people from Lilu, Asia, Iseke, many places, we are in support of these people when they started, but the attitude has changed ever since they realized the actual mission for which these people came into our lands. Now, it is up to this report. There is a difference between the army hearing it from me and them hearing it from the executive governor of the state. This is why the governor should demand the withdrawal of many, if not all, the soldiers stationed in Anambra State. Let them move them out, bring new people in with a new task, with a new command. And these guys, you will see that they can't, if they stand no chance, each time we come, they are running. And any operation in the Southeast must be universal, if I must use that word, in the sense that they will hit them all at the same time. 4 local governments at the same time. Also LGA in Imo State, Iyala LGA, some part of Ekusigo and Orumba. If we can hit them once, Adibo is not even that big that it will be difficult. We just have to have the will. And since the mindset of the people has changed, now the mindset of the military will also change. Should also know that the people are now solidly behind them. They are in support of anything that will bring peace. And it's obvious that dialogue will not cut it, negotiation will not cut it, and any amnesty must be genuine amnesty, which will begin by disarmament. I don't know if that answered your question, Your Highness.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I'm here with you. Yes, he did. He did justice to the question. It's just that I will still say he gave so many conditions under which this can be done. And the involvement of the state government or governments, that is fine. But my own take is that at the end of the day, it looks like some agencies are so complacent in fighting this war, because I do not know how the government itself, the military, the police, the DSS, and the rest of them will not be able to do this, confronting non-state actors. I am one of those people that have suffered a lot from the activities of these miscreants. But whatever is the case, I feel that the government is doing, they are trying, but those who have the guns, we have to help us more. Thank you.
Thank you, His Royal Majesty. I think as a response to what you said, I am aware that there was a time certain entities within the Anambra Security requested from your community and Dosumohu to buy them weapons to go after these individuals. And at some point, even the last operation, at some point, they requested to be given a bulldozer, from the community also, which in some senses, for me, it's absurd, because I then ask, what is the essence of the security votes that is there to keep the people safe? However, since this community, has been, these things been happening within these communities, and the community has been helpless, trying to find self-help. Government appears not to be doing enough, but suddenly woke up. Now, the last operation on Mother Valley, I think Ijele confirmed to me if that's true. This operation was started by Imo State. Anambra just came into it. It wasn't like it was started as a joint operation. It was started an operation from Imo State, then Anambra. Ijele, is that correct?
No, this operation did not just start, because in Lilu, they have military station there.
Yeah, but that military in Lilu is as good, is as dead as Dodo.
Of course. Now, see the thing. People from Lilu are telling us that these boys will be passing. They will flash torch at the army, and the army will flash them back, which means there is an agreement. You don't touch us, I don't touch you. Then they will be operating that way. But most of this information hardly gets to the ears of the governor, hardly gets to the ears of the people at the defense headquarters, hardly gets to the ears of the NSA. So this is where all of us need to link forces together and bring this to the attention of the appropriate authorities, the NSA, the Defense HQ, the Army HQ, and also the governor, because most of these governors have no idea what's going on. The ears this information will get to before it gets to them, most of them are compromised. So this is why I'm telling you, we need to bridge that gap between the community and the necessary authorities. Like Igwe is saying now, he's from the community, and Lilu is one of the most hit communities after Osuyitukwu and Osmo. So all these places, it is up to those of us that have the platform, that have the links, that have everything, to make sure we control the narrative and ensure that the true issues are being discussed, the real facts are presented to the people. And most times when these people get the real facts, you see how they act. Look at the Anambra State governor. Look at the Anambra State government. They woke up just in a space of hours. And if you know how security works, it takes time to plan. But if the governor could come straight, jump into it, and carry it on like this, why can't we even sustain the operation and make sure we link all these communities together? To solve this issue, we just need to make sure there is a free movement of people, personnel, equipment from point A to point B to point C to point D. And in these cases, all these alphabets represent Osu-Itukwa, Lilu, Osumohu, and the second. If we can get all these places, even if we push all of them to Asia, then the police can go there, arrest them in Asia or Okijo-Femiri, which are the places they are moving to. So this is not all that difficult, but we just need the right people in the right place. Moreover, there are so many people that believe if this insecurity ends, they will not be important in the eyes of the governors. The contracts they are getting over this thing will stop. So these are the other snakes we need to remove from this and bring back our land to what it used to be.
Well, we have spoken enough on this, and it's been an enlightening period of time. As we conclude tonight's discussion, it is important to remember that the future of the Southeast cannot be secured through blame alone. It requires honesty, courage, and the willingness to confront uncomfortable truths. This night, some truth has been said here that it's so uncomfortable that some individuals are in the comment section insulting themselves. The insecurity affecting the region today is not just a security problem. It is a social, economic, political challenge that demands collective responsibility. Security operatives may remove criminals from certain areas, but lasting peace will require trust between communities and authorities. Responsible leadership, economic opportunity for our youths, and genuine dialogue where necessary. Oh, Igwe, you're raising your hands again. Just hold on a minute. The Igbo nation has historically thrived through enterprise, unity, resilience, community cooperation. This same value must guide us as we seek solutions to the challenges before us. Conversations like this are important because silence does not solve any problem. Open dialogue allows us to question, clarify, and move closer to practical solutions. On behalf of Njenje Media TV, I thank our guest, Chukwuka Ofoegbu, Ijele Speaks, for him joining us tonight and sharing his perspective on what he has seen in the field. And to our viewers around the world, thank you for being part of this important conversation. The future of our Igbo or the Igbo nation depends on the choices we make today. On this note, Igwe, I will yield to you before I call it a day. Igwe, for your final comment, please.
Thank you, sir. And one more time, the presenter, I know the state governments, mainly the Imo state government, the Anambra state government, are trying their best in combating this evil that has bereaved our communities, especially those communities within the peripheries or the border of the two states. And my community, of course, happens to be affected. What I will suggest, if you don't mind, though, is to talk to the Southeast, the newly inaugurated Southeast Development Commission, because I know that one of their mandates, one of the major mandates or terms of reference was to see how they can help to what do I say now? To how they can help to reconfigure, bridge the gap. The government is those gaps that the government cannot effectively do, and help to reconstruct the the war. I don't know which war, whether it was the Biafran war, of course, that one, if I may say, we probably have recovered from that. It might be, I think the mandate or the term of reference may have to be referring to this present war we are fighting because it is a war. So we need to see if we can talk to them to understand that they have a role in also trying to help some of these communities that are critically affected by the activities of the unknown gunmen. It's just a suggestion. If you can take it up, interview them, and see how they will come, how they can come in to help. It will not be outside their mandate. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. I mean, as you are aware, this is the state of the Igbo nation where no conversation is off limit. I do invite, be it the socio-cultural leaders, that is the Ohanese leadership, the Igbo businessmen, intellectuals, and anybody that we consider have something to say and solutions to profile to Igbo. I will say it here that I have also tried to reach out to the leadership of the commission, but for now, without success for them to appear on the program. But that said, I will keep on, pressing that they would have to come, and I take what you said on board. We must find a lasting solution to this. And for those of you watching us online, we say goodbye to you. We would still stay back here to have as, inner caucus, or rather